Quick Crypto, bringing you quick Kaspa news, and in my opinion you are still very early Kaspa holders. Kaspa, as we can see, is currently rallying alongside Bitcoin, which is currently trying to break above that level of resistance at $63,000. Now, we can see Kaspa currently valued at 15.05 cents, up roughly 1.56% on the daily time frame. And what does Kaspa and Bitcoin have in common? Well, they are both proof of work projects, of course, yes, but more importantly, it is Marathon Digital Holdings. Marathon CEO Fred Thiel confirmed just a few days ago now that they've been increasingly bullish with Kaspa, expanding their Kaspa mining operation, which adds up. As we can see from Alex here, Kaspa's hash rate is still very, very high, and it has remained this high for the past month or so, I believe. In fact, if you remember, Kaspa's hash rate jumped from 400 petahash per second PHS to 1.2 all-time high being EHS, which is equivalent to 1,200 PHS. So just to make that easier for you to understand, 400 to 1,200 PHS in just 3 months. A 3x in 3 months is crazy work and proof that Kaspa's adoption is still very much alive, and it is growing, in fact. Hash rate is a crucial indicator for a proof of work project. To determine its worth, the higher this number, the more security it is, and also the more adoption the project has. And do you know the catalyst that caused Kaspa to 3x in hash rate in just 3 months? It was Marathon Digital Holdings. They publicly announced that they've been mining Kaspa in secret since September 2023, and then confirmed that they are diversifying their mining operation to include Kaspa alongside Bitcoin in July 2024, 3 months ago, which is very bullish news all around. But it doesn't stop there, as Fred Thiel recently took part in an interview with Forbes to talk about their strategy, AI, and their technology, how they are different from other miners, where in this interview they also explain their increasingly bullish stance on Kaspa. As we can see in this transcript, Forbes asked, how much Kaspa do you have and are you continuing to mine it? Where Fred Thiel responded by saying, we continue to mine Kaspa and we have actually grown our capacity a handful of times since we first announced that we were doing it, so back in July. So they've increased their Kaspa accumulation and their mining operation more than once. A handful of times, more than once since July, which could also explain why the hash rate has drastically increased in such a short period of time. Fred then also goes on to explain that Kaspa mining right now is more profitable than Bitcoin mining, which is why they diversified in the first place, also stating that Kaspa has some very strong price appreciation lately, so we've had a hold on for dear life strategy around some of the Kaspa, which of course is very, very bullish news to hear. Fred also goes on to reiterate once again that they can actually take their Kaspa and sell it to buy more Bitcoin, but we will circle back to that point in just a moment because I believe it's actually just hearsay. He's just saying it for the sake of saying it. Because Forbes then asked Fred Thiel for any more points regarding Kaspa that he would like to share, because the Forbes interviewer thinks that it's hard to ascertain real discernible use for it beyond just people mining it and then sending it back and forth. Looks like he's not been doing his research, and it's for this reason why I recently created a free to join Discord server. 360 of us right now working towards achieving this financial freedom while building our knowledge of Kaspa and crypto as a whole, sharing alpha where we can. If you want to join, the link to join will be in the description below. But thankfully, it seems that Fred Thiel has done his research, responding by saying Kaspa as a technology is very interesting. It's a web chain versus blockchain, where a web of blocks versus a linear line of blocks, and Kaspa has a very fast transaction speed. So Fred obviously understands Kaspa to an extent, which explains why he is so bullish enough to mine Kaspa and increase his mining operation, and will continue to do so as long as it is profitable. But then again, he also says that Kaspa mining will likely not be long-term business due to its very high emission decline. So let's talk about it, shall we? He said Kaspa can be sold to buy more Bitcoin, and that they won't mine Kaspa long-term because it will end up becoming less profitable than Bitcoin mining in the future, which isn't wrong if Kaspa was to stay the way that it is. But Kaspa won't, and I think Fred Thiel knows this. Fred Thiel tweeted out yesterday that according to a Bloomberg NEF New Energy Outlook report just published, the world needs 35 million miles of new grid network at a cost of $24.1 trillion to meet energy transition goals by 2050. That's on top of $22.7 trillion for renewable energy generation spending to meet the goal. So Fred says Bringing high-intensity compute such as Bitcoin mining to the point of power generation can help finance renewable generation projects for the energy transition until grid networks catch up and take power to the consumer. But you should have heard and seen research paper after research report time and time again from world-leading institutions disclosing how unproductive and energy-intensive Bitcoin is, that there is no need for an inefficient proof-of-work mechanism like the one enabling Bitcoin from the European Central Bank. So what about Kaspa? The trilemma solver surpassing Bitcoin's scalability issue and being anything but inefficient. Agreeably, it hasn't really been put to the full test yet, as it's still too early for them, but I'll mind you again, Fred Thiel already sees their interest in technology, and I think he also sees the potential just like the KII. As we can see, the KII tweeted out, almost in response to what Fred Thiel tweeted and posted earlier, that Kaspa mining is likely to become more profitable, but a great way to help the energy transition until the network catches up. Kaspa has a far greater utility for the energy sector generally because of its capability and how we plan to use it as a base layer for the new energy market. So take a quick listen to the segment of Roy O'Neill's speech at the Kaspa KII Enterprise event explaining what the KII is exactly and what the goal is with Kaspa.
We're a group of people who come from industry, and we were searching for a DLT solution for several years to adopt for our explicit needs. Like I say, we were practicing and building and everything else, and nothing really quite fit. We couldn't scale properly, or something was paid by a centralized authority, or there was all sorts of problems. And we almost abandoned it for a little while. And then Paul was talking about building an organization called Zeta for carbon credits. And that prompted a re-examination of where we were and where we'd gotten to with DLT. So we started looking, and we found that Kaspa met a wide variety of criteria. And ultimately, we found Kaspa and we were blown away by its potential. And it ticked every single metric in our really extensive evaluation rubric. And from then on, we were hooked. So right now, the Kaspa Industrial Initiative Foundation is established in the Czech Republic. However, we're making active plans to relocate it in the near future to the Netherlands for the main foundation, with satellite companies in Malta, UAE, Singapore, and other markets. And we're doing that in cooperation with our friends in DII and Zeta. So, as an industrial initiative, we're a bridge or a market enabler that connects the groundbreaking innovation of Kaspa's block DAG technology with the practical needs of modern business. So essentially, we're a catalyst. We want to drive the adoption of decentralized solutions to address challenges that businesses face today, or businesses where we can actually completely transform them. Some businesses that are actually, in some cases, thousands of years old, believe it or not. And we're going to talk about one really interesting use case later on. So we want to be part of the Kaspa ecosystem as a builder and foster collaboration, and facilitate an environment where innovators, businesses, and communities come together to create real-world solutions powered by Kaspa. And where we can do that, we'll contribute to the overall system, such as assisting in smart contract ecosystem development so that the smart contracts that are being developed are relevant to business and industry.
The KII's mission is to drive enterprise-grade applications in finance, energy, logistics, and carbon trading, and they are doing this by being a market enabler for Kaspa. And the KII and DII Desert Energy, they go hand in hand due to the common chairman being Paul Van Son and board members being Rory O'Neill. And in just 10 days time from right now, the KII will be introducing Kaspa to key energy leaders. They are about to discover very, very soon in 10 days how Kaspa can help them solve real world problems. Kaspa will make the energy market much more efficient, at least until the energy grid network catches up, and I do believe that Fred Thiel is perfectly aware of this. The language he used in his interview with Forbes is decisive, and while showcasing support of Kaspa, he never failed to reiterate that Bitcoin is their main focus. And you have to remember that Marathon until last year was a Bitcoin only mining company. They've changed for the first time ever in history, with Bitcoin maxis and the world's largest financial institutions like BlackRock, Vanguard and Jane Street as their shareholders. He had to talk about Bitcoin, of course. So my speculation is that he introduced Kaspa early, right now, with the goal of one day transitioning to it. Again, he says that they will continue to mine Kaspa and increase the capacity of it as long as it is profitable. And the KRI confirmed here that Kaspa mining will become more profitable once they are in the energy sector, once they grow more and more in adoption. Fred is using language to suppress the FUD that the Bitcoin maxis would have, the shareholders would have, if he went all in on Kaspa. But better still, even the blockchain space, the crypto space would benefit much better off massively with Kaspa, as Rory O'Neill confirmed a month back in this video we can see here how much money institutions can save if they were to use Kaspa instead of the Ethereum, for example.
So I spoke with a major the digital assets manager of a major financial institution about 2 weeks ago, and they manage between 20 and 40 billion, or sorry, 20 and 40 trillion worth of customer assets on an annual basis. And within their digital management team, they're currently doing 95% of the settlements on Ethereum. And I asked them just roughly what the volume of transactions would be, and then just from the gas fees alone, they would be saving tens of millions a year just by transferring over to Kaspa.
This is very, very big news. When Fedfield talks about Bitcoin here, I truly believe he's actually talking about Kaspa, but just in disguise. But that's just my speculation, of course. What we have to remember ultimately, though, is that what's happening right now with Kaspa and crypto as a whole, but Kaspa in particular right now, we are still very, very early. These developments, they won't happen overnight, but they are accelerating quicker than you may realize. So once Kaspa's adoption and use case grows more and more, the price will also rise with it. Come chill chat and learn more on the free Discord server. Get the links below, but remember, don't be emotional, be logical, and I'll see you in the next one.